Okay, recording this video after close trade Monday 29th of April 2013. Hope you had a good day's trading today. Well, made it back up into the 90s today. You can see it's almost looking like a little bit of a kind of double top going on here. We didn't quite crack this particular high, but we came I think within about quarter point, 3/4 of a point, something like that. But the volumes are really dropping off, only about 1.0 million contracts traded a day. It was an exhaustion buying bar. All that means is on today's activity, that was kind of the majority of the trade going through was kind of upticks. And the average trade size was pretty high, so just kind of watch out. Been talking about the pullback in an uptrend signal going off on the better sine wave indicator, and I need to show you two charts to show you kind of there's a difference when you look at different data. So at ES.D is the continuous contract. .D means it's the day session only data, and we came through this retrace. I thought we'd go a little bit lower. We didn't. We were coming up this cyclical cross, and it didn't actually happen. You can see we've got the lines kind of diverging just like they did this time. So just shows kind of the strength of the market at the moment, and this pattern looks very similar to the last kind of dip that we had. Blue professional bars into exhaustion, selling, pro signal exit. We kind of rally back, with the exception that this time around we've had our flush signals going into that kind of left shoulder, if you like. The buying is extremely weak. The volumes kind of dropped right off. Got a couple of amateur bars up here. When you look at this on the at ES contracts, this is continuous contract day and night session. So the previous chart was just day session. This is day and night. You can see we've actually had that cross on better sine wave pullback printed. When I talked about this last week, I was saying if it was going to print, it was going to print late, and so it's kind of printed a couple of bars off the low there. But that pullback's kind of gone off, and we're coming close to a cyclical cross, which will signal an end of trend sequence here. So we've got all these flush signals going on. Look at all these amateur bars kind of up here. Better momentum looks stronger on this chart, but we're still running out, I would say, of the puff, and that's going to be very interesting as that end of trend kind of signal kind of goes off. And we got that on a bunch of the indices. If you look at the other indices, they're very similar to this one. And trend oscillator. Last week I was convinced the market was going to continue down at least a little bit more until we got exhaustion selling, and it just turned around and went the other way. The trend oscillators took profits, reverse went long, bang. This thing's unbelievable. So I've got to be. Last week for me was a really bad week's trading, and one of the reasons why I didn't put up any videos because I was totally out of sync. Because in my head, I really thought the market was going to head lower, and we're going to put in a proper exhaustion sell signal and kind of rally from there, and we didn't. We just the rally kind of kept on going. So my head was just totally out of sync, and I was trying to find tops and kind of sell highs. It was just dumb instead of just going with the flow. And the trend oscillator, there we go. But trend oscillator is now overbought at positive 143. We've had a bearish divergence signal kind of go off a couple of days ago, and usually the trend oscillator turns within a couple of days of that kind of going off. So it's going to be interesting tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, kind of looking at that. And then when you start looking down the time frames, the 45-minute chart, which again was nice in terms of signaling the pullback to end of trend signal from which we bounced last week, has now put in pullback to end of trend. We've got blue professional bars up here. You can see that kind of what was that? That was the AP hacking crash. Hack crash, I think they're calling this one here, where the market kind of just temporarily reversed 30 points and then went all the way back up. But now we got pullback to end of trend. You can just see how weak, this time around into this high we had exhaustion buying, bearish divergence, we fell off. We're coming back into these levels, and it's really weak kind of buying going on here. And that's not dissimilar. I've always said 45-minute chart, the 40,500 tip bar chart is a very similar kind of time frame chart to look at, and here you can see just like the 45-minute chart, we had pullback to end of trend. This one we had pullback to end of trend. The blue professional bars kind of coming at the lows, and this is the one where I was convinced we would have an exhaustion selling signal, and I was saying, for markets to reverse, we really need exhaustion selling. You tend to get exhaustion selling on the downside to bottom markets out, and what we've had is kind of floating back up. But we've come into exhaustion buying. Now this is exhaustion buying at the end of trend rather than on the left shoulder. We certainly had blue professional bars at the left shoulder. We've had them at the highs up here, but that means we've got to wait for the second cyclical turn after this one as kind of an important kind of topping out pattern. So, you know, could be over the next couple of days we put in some nice kind of cyclical activity that we find that level from which we're going to reverse. What have we got next? Yeah, so just in terms of other markets, first of all, dollar index. The strength in the market last week kind of took me by surprise because I was thinking it would go the other way, and all of the currencies have strengthened except all the currencies opposite US dollar have strengthened, really taken me by surprise, and dollar index has now formed exhaustion buying and pullback to end of trend. So for the time being, have to just wait and see. For me, kind of the jury's out in terms of where the dollar index will go. My long-term kind of hypothesis is still that we're going to be buying US bonds and US dollars. So I think this is going to come back up, but you can see over the last 3 or 4 days it's come off pretty substantially. But the bond markets continue to rally up. Today's activity was an Emini bar, kind of up the highs here. We've had our exhaustion selling on the downside to bottom this thing out, so this thing isn't over until we see a decent exhaustion buying signal on the way up to top it out, and we've still got to pull back to end of trend on this. So I still think the bonds is kind of strong, but dollar index is not. Thanks for a huge number of emails after the bot signal video kind of came out. Not sure what I'm going to do with that kind of code, so just I'm going to sit on that for a while. But what happened today with the bot signal? Unusual, we got 3 kind of go off. Usually I say you're lucky if you get 3 in a week. Yesterday we got 3 in a day, but this is where they actually went off. So we had one kind of after the open kind of coming on this little rise, kind of takes off. We had this exhaustion kind of pattern into this kind of high. What was that? I think that was coming into pending home sales, maybe about 9 in the morning. We had bot signal kind of go off just after that, and the market kind of weakened but just cracked a little bit higher. Usually I'm looking saying that the market tends to reverse within a point of the bot signal, and it didn't. It kind of kept on going up and up a little bit. Then lo and behold, another little bot signal kind of comes in. The market goes down by a ½ point and then races away up to these new highs up at 92. So interesting. And in terms of my trading, got a nice little, it wasn't a one shot, one kill, but it was a 4-point trade after the open. So went short at the beginning of the day just because we had blue professional bars kind of up here. And I always say for a reversal we need to see exhaustion buying during the full liquidity of the day, and so it wasn't for me a convincing kind of trade to go short there because we'd not seen exhaustion selling yet. And then on the 500 tip bar chart we had a whole heap of little Rambo patterns kind of come in. Amateurs trying to short the market right at the get-go. 1500 tip bar chart, there we go, amateur bar down here, another little kind of sequence of amateur bars down there. 1500 tip bar chart, the Rambo patterns for me are really significant. So when the market started to reverse, got out of that short trade just at break even, 81.25, went long at 81.50, and got 4 points out of this move and got out at this pro signal exit where we got all these blue professional bars, a little bump in terms of exhaustion buying, pretty high levels kind of going on here, and it was a nice little trade there. That was enough for me. That was kind of midnight 20:30, something like that, last night here in Sydney time. So went to my bed. This thing kind of continued up. We had pullback to end of trend. We'd had this on the left shoulder. It was about 11 in the morning, so that's kind of the window where the window starts to shut for a potential reversal day, and they couldn't shut it down, so the market kind of kept on going, and we had another pullback to end of trend sequence here, another exhaustion pattern on a left shoulder, bearish divergence, flush pattern up here at the highs, and then we did kind of move, take profits kind of at the end of yesterday. So let's see where it goes kind of tomorrow, but the next few days will be interesting as we put in those kind of cyclical, well, the turning point on the trend oscillator for me will be the one that will be really important. And I hope your trading went well today. Just got long 81.50, long 81.50, and just checking my stops and targets. Market doesn't correct, not yet at least. Yeah, it was into a Rambo pattern. That's not altogether good. It's a 1500 tip bar chart, pre-open, a lot of blue professional bars up here, and all the amateurs wanted to get short. Had a Rambo pattern here. We had a whole family of them on 500. And initially we kind of broke down, but then kind of reversed, went the other way. So I'm at an up bar here, but it just looks like it's itching to, it's found resistance, breakthrough support, and go for an exhaustion pattern on the upside. Do prefer to go into a reversal situation after exhaustion during the full liquidity of the day. Let's see, it's all amateur bars here, very non-defined. So we're just sitting in a Rambo to Rambo channel at the moment. Need this break up to 82 to get confirmation that we're in uptrend or continuation of subtrend on our way to blow off. So just long 81.50, come on up. Here we go, got the break. So we came into a Rambo pattern just above resistance, but we've kind of come on through there, so that's good. So hopefully now breaking into an uptrend on the 500 2-bar chart. We've got support in 45, so this wasn't an end of trend kind of down here, just a bit of a basing pattern. And we're bouncing off this amateur activity. So come on, let's get this thing going. Previous highs, 83s. Target's sitting at 85, so a little bit of ways away, so let's just see where we go next. Alright, didn't really make it through 82s. Got resistance about to print 1500. We had this blue fractional bar, just sunk below the lows of that. It's 857. We got pending home sales coming out at 9. Coming back up, which is good. So hanging around resistance here, a break above that to a decent move, get us into an uptrend. We've got support here. Wasn't very aggressive selling at this point, so which means we could still break up. So still holding long, not convinced yet. Well, number must have just come out. Had a little bit of flurry of activity, a little bit of weakness, but we're holding above resistance here on 500, up at 275. It's good. So breaking it, we've got resistance coming on 1500. We're breaking above that, good to 83s. Right, so we decided we're going for an uptrend. So decent distance above the 500s. So this has got to get resolved with a pullback to end of trend. Whoa, excellent. Looked like we ran a bunch of stops at 83. The target's 550, 85.50. Come on. No blue professional bars yet, 6,000. Okay, one blue professional bar. Exhaustion buying, 4,000 here, 8,000 to do. Another blue professional bar here. So just want a little bit more. Come on, let's get to 550. Oh, here we go. We've got a flat top, 84.50. Market doesn't like flat tops. No, it's a Rambo pattern here. We've got 8,000 on better momentum. Another Rambo. So it's got to go for a bit of a blow off through that. And it's got to pull back to end of trend on 500 most likely. 9,000. Oh, come on, come on. Bingo. Taken out. 85.50, excellent. Went a bit mental there now. It's up at 86s. A whole bunch of blue professional bars. Big readings, better momentum. Pro signal exit kind of gone off. Excellent. So what is that? 9:06 AM. So 4 points, 2 trades. First trade was break even. Glad I got out of that first one. That was the clue. This Rambo pattern, all this amateur activity here. The amateurs wanted it to go down. Nope. We got to see exhaustion buying during the full liquidity of the day before we're going to see a reversal most of the time. Good. Done. Go to bed. It's midnight 06 here, Sydney, Australia. So